And these are today's shoutouts. If you want to see yourself in the next video, then subscribe and leave a comment. Welcome ladies and gentlemen, Arca here, and I'd like to ask you a favor. If you find this video useful, please do make sure to subscribe to my channel. Help me grow, and I'm starting to gift subscribers. More info at the end of the video. Please enjoy.
So what is up boys, Argy here back again with a brand new video boys, and for today's video we've got a really good one. Today we're gonna test the FPS I get on my computer using DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 and the newly added DirectX performance mode. It has been added last week, so this is going to be a really interesting video to see the difference, because I already made videos comparing Dx11 and Dx12 and we actually saw a huge FPS increase. But since they added the performance mode, the FPS you get with it is just insane. And I thought I'd do a comparison video with side-by-side angles and see what's better. It will be a great idea to just compare them and see how we gamed 2 to 3 months ago, and then DirectX 12 update and then the performance update released this week, and see how they all stack up. Because as you know, Epic has been adding all these FPS increase features so that the PC in this world could run Fortnite in 120 FPS, so just like any new gen consoles. And I feel Epic's doing it so that PC didn't have a disadvantage, because without these new features like DirectX 12 and the performance mode, to get at least 120 FPS, you need to have like a twice as powerful PC for the price as a normal gen console. So yeah, I think Epic's doing a great job making everything smooth and equal on both platforms. So no platform has a big advantage over the other. But without further ado boys, I hope you are subscribed to the channel. If you're enjoying the content, then share it with your friends. It will help me out a ton. So yeah, let's jump right into the video. And yeah, to compare the performance of each setting, I'm gonna show you the actual gameplay footage of every setting. So the gameplay you're seeing right now is the FPS I'd have before all of these new updates ever hit. So Dx11 is what we used to run the game on since the release of the actual game back in 2017. And this is the FPS I was getting before any of these new updates. So yeah, I'm running around 200 to 250 FPS, and I think it's not that bad actually. But compared to the FPS I play now, this FPS is actually pretty low. So yeah, I think Dx12 and the new performance mode really spoiled me. But this is good because actually it lets more people into the PC gaming community without actually the need to spend like 1 grand, 2 grand, even 5 grand on a good gaming PC. At least with these new updates, you can stay on a competitive level without wasting even more than 500. So a $200 PC will be competitive enough to be on par with the new consoles. But onto the next part, and I really want to explain to you how Dx12 actually works. It's pretty easy to just turn it on and to expect an FPS boost, but it's more complicated than that, because the FPS boost will be heavily dependent on the PC that you have, and more specifically the actual CPU that you are running with. And how Dx12 works is it utilizes more cores on your CPU than the previous Dx11. So before this update with Dx11, you'd have Fortnite using only like 60% of your first core on your CPU, and the rest of the 40% would be distributed by 10 to 15% to your other cores. And for people that don't know what CPU cores are, then just a quick summary I think that will help you is CPUs usually have 5 to 12 cores. And that all depends on the type of processor you have or are planning to get. So an i3 will have the least number of cores, while an i5 will have from anywhere 6 to 7 cores, and an i7 or i9 will have 10, 12, 15, etc. amount of cores. So yeah, they generally stack up with i3s, i5s, i9s. I'm not sure about any other processors like Ryzen because I never personally use them myself. But yeah, I hope this is more clear to you, and what these cores do is the CPU uses them to distribute the loads. So the loads of graphical memory and just processing power. So for example, you're rendering a video using a specific software. The CPU is rendering that video, and because it's really heavy and time consuming, it will split it across all its cores. This means there is less pressure overall on the cores, and that means the PC can be used for other programs without lagging that much. That's why if you're planning to stream or like record YouTube videos, people advise you to get an i7 or even an i9 processor. They have more cores that will allow you to do multitasking, so streaming or record your gameplay without it affecting the performance of your game. And now finally onto how Dx12 actually works. It utilizes more of your cores for the actual game. So yeah, I hope this makes a lot more sense to you. There is an article where the developers of Epic actually said that this technology was added so you'd get more FPS and also less FPS stutters. So instead of Fortnite using up only half of your first core on your CPU and then 2 to 3 cores for the rest of the load, ignoring the other 10 cores you might have on like an i7 or a 9 processor, you can now have a really well and optimized gaming experience where all the cores on your CPU are used but at a less heavy workload. So this basically means that you'll have less FPS stutters, especially in gunfights, because I don't know about you, but I remember running around an empty town and field with 200 FPS, but the moment I get into a gunfight it drops to 70. Like yeah, it was really bad from time to time for me, and I'm sure every one of you guys experienced these FPS drops as well. And with DirectX 12 it shouldn't happen anymore, or at least not as frequent and damaging. And from my personal experience, I played with it for like a month or 2 now, and there is literally 0 FPS drops now. The FPS I get is insanely good. I did get an FPS boost because I have an i7 and it has more cores, so you get more of an FPS boost on it. And if you've got like an i5, then you won't get as big of an FPS boost like an i9 processor. So yeah, if you're thinking of building a PC, go with something like a mid-tier i7. That will be pretty cheap because hey, DirectX 12 will be useful for you. You will be saving more money on an older type of i7 gen processor, but in return you will be getting more FPS, so it's like a win-win situation. So yeah, just some casual tips to help you save money and get the best performance for Fortnite. But here is some DirectX 12 gameplay. As you can see or will see over time, the FPS increased by like 50. So in some places I'd get like 190 FPS. Now I'm getting 240 with Dx12. And I also from time to time see 300 FPS jumps. And I never had 300 FPS using Dx11. So yeah, this is a big performance increase, but as I said before, it's really important that you make sure you will be getting the best FPS possible by getting a CPU which has a lot of cores that you can utilize this option with. So if you're thinking of getting like an i9 9900K, which is a pretty standard processor, you'll have 8 cores. This ain't that much, even though it's really fast and good. It's a lot less than an i7 processor which comes with 8 cores. Some i7s can have even 12 or 14 cores, and this means that you can save a lot of money. So CPUs also tend to be limited by your graphics card or the game. And I think Fortnite's soft limits FPS, meaning the barrier that's pretty hard to break with your FPS, is around 450 to 500 FPS. I tested it myself in one video, and yeah, it's pretty much hard soft lock sort of thing. So the most high-end gaming setups will get this FPS. But even if you reduce the resolution to 144p in the document settings and also overclock your PC to an insane amount, you'll still be getting that same FPS. It's really hard to break through that soft cap barrier of 450 to 500 FPS in Fortnite. So don't go thinking if you buy an i9 processor, which will have no problem running Fortnite in like 400 FPS, that if you turn on Dx12, you'll magically be at 600 FPS. Like yeah, this isn't how it all works, and everything is pretty tied together regarding the overall FPS of your game. So because you're getting a super beast processor, that doesn't mean that you'll get super beast FPS, because Fortnite is again limited at the amount of FPS that you can get. The graphics card and RAM are also really important, and they all need to be working to the max to get the best results. But yeah, and right now you should see the gameplay of me running around with DX performance mode. and it's been added a week ago. It's fairly new, and also it really makes your game look really bad. So it's like a Nintendo Switch version of Fortnite. This is in fact a lot worse than the mobile. So the mobile Fortnite looks so much better than this performance mode, but the FPS increase we're getting is absolutely insane. This mode is for mega really bad PCs, and it's to give them a chance at running the game at a smooth frame rate. So it's really cool of Epic adding this feature. So my PC won't have such a big impact with the performance mode. Because of my high-end i7 processor, I will be getting a lot more FPS boost from the DirectX 12 option. But if you're like on a low spec PC, you will be getting like an insane increase in performance. So like an Intel integrated graphics card will be getting 60 to 120 or even 200 FPS. It's completely possible with this feature. It's amazing what Epic did. But yeah, I hope this video was useful. If you did enjoy it and want to see more, then hit that subscribe button, because I'm also doing a giveaway at 6k subs. And not to miss it, you should subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll get a noti when I'm going live. And I'm gonna do a giveaway of some V-Bucks and some skins from the item shop. Make sure to be there, and I'll give some more info regarding this stream when we're closer to the 6k subs. So I hope you did enjoy the video, guys. It's been me, Arky, as always, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoy and find it useful. If you want to join my future Battle Pass and V-Bucks giveaways, do make sure to easily apply by subscribing and leaving a comment with your Fortnite username. I will be choosing 5 random people in the near future for weekly gifts. Peace.